Hey friends! It is the day after Easter and we hosted yesterday, so we had a very busy, full, chaotic, loud house. I have a large family. I'm the oldest of 7 children. And so we all have kids, most of us, and it was a busy, busy day. But today, back at the garden, so I'm gonna take a quick peek at the side yard here, and then today's chore is we're gonna go out and plant some stuff in the big in-ground garden, finally. Okay, I want to check out this side of the yard because we had nice weather yesterday too, and before that we had some rain, so there are some things happening. This does take a little bit longer to get going because it only gets sun about halfway through the day, but that will come in handy as it gets to heating up here, and these peas and cool weather crops, can you see all those guys, will actually last longer because they won't have as much sun when it gets really warm. Back here, these radishes are all popping up. See them all? They go all the way down, as does all the spinach. I'll try not to go too fast and give you whiplash. Hey, baby spinaches! So in a couple weeks, this planter should be looking really, really good. It's got a lot of good moisture right now. Got good germination out of both the spinach and the radishes. I had a couple spinach just kind of migrate rows, but for the most part, it looks like the spinach is in the front and the radishes are in the back. So that's fantastic. These are exploding down here. Oh, they're so pretty. And then on this bed over here, this is the same thing. I've got more peas coming. This gets a little bit morning sun, so these are a little bit further along. But I did have a little bit more spotty germination. However, let me show you what's coming up right here. I don't even know if this is going to pick it up or not. Let me zoom in. Let me try and zoom in. There she is. That's a kohlrabi. We put kohlrabi seed in here, and I was afraid it wasn't coming up. But look, there's another one right there. And a flying ant. The flying ants are out. Can't help that. But we should have kohlrabi and peas in this bed. So that's exciting. Easter party leftovers out here, but I do have a couple racks of some things. Some of them are dead, but they actually did not die out here. They died from my cat. But a couple things here. The snapdragons all look lovely. I've got some things up here. I'm going to take all these over to the in-ground garden because on anything left, we can plant it over there. Side stop. That's our first daffodil of the season. Hey, pretty girl. Got a little bit of crocuses left, but most of them are starting to fall over and say goodbye. This girl's left, but she's there. I love how nature folds from one thing into another, So here is the in-ground garden. These are all the things that I have pulled over either from the front or I had some things around back still. I don't necessarily have to use all this, but this is what I have to work with. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the end over here. I started already, but if you look on this side of the garden, this is where I have got my garlic. And what it is, I covered it with a layer of leaves. Now these leaves will run through the lawnmower, so they do get space in between them and they're a good mulch, but some of them are a little bit thicker. So I am taking any that are bigger and not broken up and kind of raking them off down here. Let me show you what that looks like. So here's how it kind of looked before. Big piles, big chunks of stuff. I raked up this pile this way over. And now you can see, I still have a lot of good mulch cover, but it's a little bit thinner. Ooh, here comes the wind. I can see the weeds hiding underneath. So this 30-foot garden, let me go to the side so you can see the whole thing as I talk. This 30-foot garden, on the end couple feet, I've got those garlic. I'm going to take the end couple feet over here and do some cool hardy things, and then I'm going to put a row of cool hardy things down the back. So I kind of have a U of things planted. That leaves me a big open space in the middle to plant. So first, I have to come over here and do some weeding. Okay, the first thing I'm planting out is onions. Let me tell you what I know about onions. Nothing. Do not take my advice on onions. They're the bane of my existence. I know it's better to start them from seed. In my gut of guts, heart of hearts, I know this. I'm having a hard time getting my onions to transition from in the house to outside. Because they're a cold weather crop, and they can take really cold weather, I should be able to get them out much faster than I do. I wait too long, they get yellowy and withery, even though I fertilize them. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'm gonna plant out the ones I got and see what I get. So here's how they're looking as I put them in the ground. Wispy, not very strong, half bent over, but this guy does have a good root system. And what I think you do is plant them shallowly. So I'm just gonna, everything in me wants to stand them up, but I'm just gonna make sure the roots are planted, and I'm gonna leave it the heck alone. I'm gonna water them in when I'm done. It looks really pathetic now, but I guess we'll see how many I get at the end of the season. Okay, so this line of onions is 35 babies strong. And I'm gonna say about half of those have a good chance, and half of them are a hope, a wish, and a prayer. They take about 15 feet. They come right up to my scarecrow. Point in my garden. So I've got onions in the back row on this half, which means I can put something else in the back row over here, to be determined. Okay, now that I got that back row sown with onions, I'm gonna go ahead and plant this square. So I'm going about 10 feet over, and I got 10 feet down here. I'm gonna go rows this way. And what I got up there, you probably can't see very good, is kale. And these right here are calendula. And I'm gonna line my bed with calendula, and then I'm gonna plant my kale. The reason I'm doing this is I like to line my beds with things that have a smell that animals won't like. So I'm hoping to keep rabbits and other animals out of the garden. So I'm gonna put the calendula on the outside. The onions on that side will help. They don't like onions. And then these kale, I have so many that I'm hoping that if I put a row of them on this side, even if something does come in the garden, they'll eat that first, which I have plenty to spare. So rabbits of the neighborhood, there's your food. Don't say I don't ever give you anything. Okay, I got a row of onions planted in my first 2 vertical rows. Calendula, different kinds up that way. The second row is all of this blue curled kale. It's a dwarf kale, so I have 12 plants in a 10-foot row. And I don't care if that's a little too close. You're gonna find out real quickly. I make my own rules when it comes to plant spacing. Sometimes in my favor, sometimes not. But there we go. I've got onions and kale and calendula planted, and that is beautiful. Right here in this funny corner of the garden, kind of at the head of all the rows, I'm going to plant a big red mustard because it's going to get big and beautiful and gorgeous, and I think it'll just look really pretty spilling out of that corner there. Okay, I have 7 leftover Brussels sprouts. I've decided to plant them right here along my fence. You can see I got them laid out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, this was not in the plan. But I don't know where else to put them. So I'm gonna tuck them in here and we're gonna see what happens. Okay, I got 1 more row in the in-ground garden. This 3rd row is 1, 2, 3 purple Cecily cabbages. I lied, purple Cecily cauliflower, and 2 Waltham broccoli. So I've got calendula, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, and the back row is all onion. And I'm gonna put one more row in the back row, and I'm gonna do a whole row of cabbages because I got enough to do a big long 30-foot row. Not a bad start for today. Okay, so there's my row of cabbage. I did every other cabbage Copenhagen and every other one red acre. So if they all come up and make it, it'll be really pretty. But the odds of that happening are nil because rabbits are going to eat them. So this is as much as I'm gonna get done today. Whoa, look at those fingers. I got those rows in the end. I've got onion and cabbages here. And let me show you the couple other things I planted today too. And the same wall where I planted those Brussels sprouts, I also put some carnival hollyhock here on this corner. I think that'll look pretty. And right kitty corner, I put some Chater's hollyhock in this container with a clematis, and hopefully that'll climb up right there. I had a few other of the Brunswick cabbage, so I just added those here and here. Let me back up a little so you can kind of see how this looks. This is just kind of the edge of my sidewalk right here. So if they're pretty, they'll come up underneath the bushes right there. We'll see how that works. I have two planters up here by my new bed, one here and one there. And I planted some chive and some sweet William doubles in both of those. The other variety of hollyhock, Watchman hollyhock, over here against the side of my house. Right where that square is where my hose goes. I'm hoping it grows up right here and kind of camouflages the hose box. Right in here in this area by the air conditioner, I have got some I'm going to put in here. I have got all of my larkspur delphiniums in here, and I'm just going to go ahead and mix those into here. And I also have a couple of varieties of columbine I'm going to put in here too. All of them are going to go either in buckets or in the ground right in here. Okay, friends, this is probably my first full working garden day, and I'm out of gardening shape. So I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my mess and take my kid to baseball, and I will see you guys tomorrow.